this webinar live streaming. Well, we're not live streaming. Somebody did suggest I Facebook's live stream this, but I thought, no, I won't do that. Yeah. So Jason Lawrence, I'm the founder and managing director of SalesFix, a Salesforce consulting partner based in Brisbane. And you are?
I'm Nicole Aebi-Moyo. I'm the National Sales Manager for SalesFix, and I've been in post since October last year, 2019.
Based in Melbourne, so a bit chillier, a bit more secluded than lucky us up here.
At the moment, although life hasn't really changed that much, and we do have proper heating, so we're all good.
Yeah. So why are we here, Nicole?
Well, we wanted to have a bit of a chat about some of the things that drew me to want to work for SalesFix in the first place, and that's some of the work that we do around supporting the community, which I know is one of the values that you've got propped up behind you. Yeah. So it appealed to me, right? It's one of the reasons I reached out to you, I think, in the first place, when I was looking for somewhere that aligned more with me and how I live my life. But I was interested, I suppose, part of the conversation would be, you know, why is it part of your values? Why did you introduce these values, and why do you continue to support the not-for-profit sector?
It just came naturally to us. One of my first customers as SalesFix was Volunteering Queensland. So this was post 2011 Brisbane floods. I always get that wrong. 2011, yes, that's correct. Brisbane floods. Volunteering Queensland had an instance of Salesforce, and they had hundreds of thousands of requests for volunteers and volunteering activities. And they reached out for some help. And instead of giving them a fully sort of like priced paid engagement, I thought, well, how do I volunteer back to this? And I gave them sort of like a discounted buy 4 days, and I'll give you a 5th day free of charge as a volunteering activity. And then from there, we've just continued to offer that sort of like discount for non-for-profits, and then over the years taking it further.
And we've got this pledge 1% concept. When did that come in, or why?
Yes, so Salesforce has a 1-1-1 philanthropic model. So 1%, and forgive me, Salesforce, if I get this not 100% right, but 1% of their profits, 1% of their staff's times, 1% of their product is given back to non-for-profit organizations in the way of free licenses, heavily discounted licenses. Their Salesforce staff are encouraged to take one, I think it's up to about 10 days a year of paid community activities, whether that be on the platform or even totally unrelated to the platform, giving back to the community at large. So they helped promote an organization in the US called pledge1%.org. And it was a no-brainer for us to take some of the work that we'd done informally and formalize it around a structure and around a pledge that we engage with. So we're still a member of Pledge 1% and have been, I don't know, 2013, 2014, something like that.
Okay. And that's something that's continued, and I know we've done quite a lot of volunteering stuff. What are we doing now? Like, what are some of the things that we do now with the community?
So we've got on the board supporting the community, and I won't go into what the SalesFix organization does to support the Salesforce community. Some of you know that I'm a Salesforce MVP, Hall of Fame member. Some of them know that we have a number of MVPs and user group leaders in our team. So separate to the Salesforce community, we're also still continuing to offer discounted services for non-for-profits. We're engaging with one or two and trying to see whether there's some sort of internship style project we can work together on. But our most recent initiative was a Pay It Forward initiative to help non-for-profits through paid engagements and paid services from our commercial organization. Nicole, in fact, you've been a very proud promoter of that. Do you want to talk more about the specifics of that program?
Yeah, so I love the way the idea came to fruition. Like it was one of our regular team meetings, and someone put their hand up and said, "Should we talk more about the Black Lives Matter movement?" And the agenda went out the window, and we had a really good, engaging conversation. And I think as part of that, someone suggested a Pay It Forward campaign. It was one of many things that we talked about.
We actually had an ISV presenting to us, and they came and joined the end of that meeting, or sorry, not the end of the meeting, the end of the conversation, and sat there quietly on the meeting, listening to us have this conversation, because it was we were obviously very we were very engaged with that subject matter and what we should do as an organization.
Yeah, it was a good conversation, and it's another thing that I enjoy about working at SalesFix is that we do have engaging conversations, whether it's about deep political matters or you know, how we deliver value to our customers. But what I liked about this was that this Pay It Forward idea it was almost a throwaway comment by one of our squad leaders, and within a few days we'd spun it up into a very you know, fairly well for an MVP defined process. So yeah, Jason, we add 1% as an optional levy or surcharge to all of our commercial engagements that we price up, and we then, SalesFix then matches any revenue generated through that or any sales generated through that, and we turn that into delivery dollars, and not-for-profits, particularly from that do work with underrepresented groups, can apply, and we deliver services to them. At the moment, we're kind of keeping it, let's keep it for small, sharp engagements, like perhaps setting up an online donation form, or integrating to MailChimp, or, you know, setting up one particular business process within their existing org. But as time progresses, you never know, we may have enough volunteer time banked to actually stand up a small not-for-profit on Salesforce from start to finish, which I think makes a huge difference to a lot of the smaller organizations that have Salesforce but don't necessarily have the capability to get the most out of it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the non-for-profit success pack and all of the other features and functions of Salesforce that's relevant for non-for-profits is quite large. But just to give them something to get their teeth around or fix some other pain point that they've got in a small bite-sized engagement is a great initiative, and hopefully we'll be able to do a number of announcements of successes of those over the next 12 months, and we'll keep the people here informed.
Yeah, for sure. But one of the things, so I've mentioned a couple of times, I mean, I'm fairly vocal on LinkedIn, and I've promoted the Pay It Forward campaign.
Not just LinkedIn, you're quite vocal at SalesFix as well.
Yeah, it's who I am. You take it or leave it. A lot of people comment or ask me why, or whether it's appropriate for commercial organizations, services, or it doesn't matter, you know, whether that's us or the clients that we work with, to be involved in what might be considered political activity. I don't know what. Yeah, how do you try and separate those two things?
No, I think anything that is of concern to one or many of our employees is up for conversation, and you and I have had a good conversation around Black Lives Matters and what should SalesFix do, why should SalesFix do something as an organization separate to any one or multiple individuals wanting to take some action specifically. So I'm not scared to have the conversation, even if the conversation is that we both agree to disagree, that we have different opinions, and or we agree that there's no action to be taken, but at least we've gone through the conscious conversation of we've made that decision consciously, rather than just let the world revolve around, rotate continuously, and us just be there along for the ride. So yeah. So yeah, it's not, I don't think any conversation is a bad conversation. In fact, we really do, I think we're really good at having those open conversations that some organizations or some people might see as confrontational, but I see it as shining a light on the problem so that we can then get it out of the shadows, get it out of the dark, and then work out what we need to do about it.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we for the most part, we do those conversations very well. You know, we do talk about the things that need to be talked about, which is a very positive work environment to be in. What are some of the things that you think we might do in the future for the not-for-profit sector?
I think we've tried a couple of times on getting a accelerated fundraising success pack, bolt-on, add-on, not a product. I don't think we'll be looking to build a product around it and make it tied to us as an organization. It's more of an accelerator. Okay, you're this size of organization with this amount of donations, with whatever the metrics is. Okay, here's a solution that gets you up and running as quickly and efficiently and effectively as possible. You might be a large organization and that is a different solution, yeah, because of the one reason or another. And here's another version of that accelerator, so that, that we can deliver consistently, effectively, and cost effectively a solution for those non-for-profits. So they're getting value for money quickly and earlier than they would do normally.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's probably an aspect that is missing on the market at the moment. I think there are lots of options for larger organizations who have got the capacity and the capability to manage and invest time in a more complex solution, but to have something very simple and simplistic that can be up and running in a matter of days is what's missing. We're this close to putting something on paper and getting that out to the market. So I think that's good. That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, I as I say, one of the reasons I wanted to join SalesFix was because of the commitment we have to the not-for-profit sector. But I think what surprised me, pleasantly surprised me, is the speed with which we can respond to things. And I think that comes from being a small, nimble organization as well.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the way we engage customers as well is we're not looking for those full-time, fixed-term engagements where we've got X number of bodies, boots on the ground, on site. Not that they'd be on site currently, but on site, and you have to work at that speed. We're flexible in how we approach those customers, working normally on a part-time basis for them, but that means that we can adapt, speed up, slow down as needed. And I think that gives the certainly in the non-for-profit space some comfort that, yeah, we can run at their pace, because they're normally understaffed, overworked, busy doing what they're doing day to day, and we're in the way half the time whilst we're trying to get them to a new steps change in implementation of a solution like Salesforce. So yeah, I think it helps in the way we engage both commercial and non-for-profits. We have the same model. Doesn't make any difference to us on the way we engage. It's just the products and the solutions we're putting in place.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. All right, well, that's been a great chat. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can have another one, and we can think of more interesting insights into what we do and how the people, the community out there that's using Salesforce and thinking of using Salesforce can leverage us.
Cool. Awesome.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yeah.